Yeah. So yeah, let me first tell you about what Face of Friday is on the finale, of course. Yeah, basically it's a debate competition where two people go head to head, and yeah, this is the final episode of the first season, and the topic for today is a very controversial one. But what is a finale if not a season full of controversies? Yeah, and the topic for today is India is becoming a Hindu country, and the participants, the finalists, are okay. Let me take a moment and first of all thank both of them for being agreeing to do this with me. And yeah, the first participant was the participant in the first ever Face Off Friday that we had, and he is consistently killing everything. Every episode he's been in. Yeah, the first participant is Prasham Shah, and the second participant is a very good friend. Both of them are very good friends, of course. But he's been into debating for as long as I could remember. And yeah, Prasham Pratap and Prasham Shah will be joining us today. Too much background noise. Prasham, I guess that will be cleared once both of you are in. So let's try, and if not, then we can always restart. Uh, hi Prasham. Is there still
Hello.
any background noise from my
No.
end? Great.
Perfect.
Hi Prasham. Hi Prasham. Yeah, this is the Prasham
Hello.
derby that we are talking about. First of all, thank you very much for being such a sport in this entire season, and agreeing to do this with me. I know this is very formal, but I have to thank both of you because I
More
remember
so today
more so today, of
because
course, Mumbai is
because
batting. Of course, Mumbai is batting, and Prasham Pratap agreed to do this. So yeah, thank you very much. And if you have to, sum your entire, season history in a sentence. So how would you, Prasham Shah, starting with you? This is very weird of me calling both of you with
So
your full
the
names, but yeah, I had to do this today.
okay.
Yeah,
So the entire concept of getting on a live debating is very exciting for me at least, and the first two three episodes that we've been to, all of them have been very amazing, and it was very good level of debate. So yeah, looking forward to the same.
yeah,
All the best, Prasham.
yeah. Prasham Pratap, what
same.
do you have to say?
Yeah. So apart from my own debate जो दो थे तो उसके अलावा भी और दो में मैं आया था. So thank you for agreeing to having me there and we had a great time. बहुत टाइम के बाद we actually had a proper structured debate. बाकी तो जब मिलते हैं तब बातें होती रहती है. That is not debate. But yeah. So may the best Prasham win.
Of
And
course.
yeah, all the best.
Yeah, and I have known you both for the same time. I mean, we all were in the same group. But how is it?
Uh,
I mean, how are the dynamics today? When you are going, head to head in the debate, in the, sector of both, expertise of both. So, how will it be? And how, are you looking forward to it? Anyone can start that one.
no,
Very, very
Prasham will always
friendly.
be a friend first and then a competitor. So
Of
it
course.
doesn't matter who wins, who loses. It's all in the spirit of the debate.
Right. So before starting, I just introduce the topic and take your opinions as we've always been through it. India is becoming a Hindu country. That's the topic for today. I sent this topic to both of them before finalizing. Both of them, at the same time agreed. But why this topic? I sent an option of 3 to 4 topics, but this one struck with them. Why?
Okay,
Prasad,
first
Pratap.
I want I we'll have some twist in the finale. कुछ तो होना चाहिए. So Prasham will agree completely. Rutuparna, we want to know your views on the topic first.
No, of course not. That's not happening. I made it clear in the first episode that I am not giving my views here. But yeah, what
अरे
are
the
your views
nation
on
wants
it?
to know
No, no,
whether
no.
it is becoming Hindu or not.
Of course. Yeah. तो है कोई आंसर या should we move forward from that question? Okay. Uh,
I think
हाँ जी.
let the debate speak for
Yeah,
itself.
of course. Also, one small thing कि both of them did not know which side they were on till yesterday evening, and that just added to the fun. And Prasham Pratap will be the opposition in this debate, and Prasham Shah will be the proposition. So, how is that? मतलब तुम लोगों को पता नहीं था कि what side you are on. So, did that add to the nervousness? Did that add to the excitement? What was the scene?
नहीं कुछ नहीं ठीक था.
ठीक था ना? Secularism
ठीक था
left,
हाँ.
of course. Okay, so I'll
So
just introduce the. हाँ जी.
if BJP has entered this chat, then it's better that all three of us leave right
Of course, 100%. Okay, so I'll just explain the format of the debate. The opening statement will be a 5 minute opening statement, for which no writing time will be given. Proposition, that is, Prasham Shah will go first, and then Prasham Pratap will follow. Um, 2 minutes per question and 6 rounds of debate, 6 rounds of rebuttal. You can extend for maximum of 3 rounds of debate. After that, a 5 minutes question answer session, which I will tell about in after completing the format. 5 minute, I mean not 5 minutes, but a question answer session after that. Then closing state. Oh, sorry, I messed up. No, after rebuttal, closing statement writing ka time, 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes to state the statement. Here, Prasham Pratap, that is the opposition, will start, and Prasham Shah will follow. And at the end, there will be a question and answer session, which will be conducted by a dear friend of all three of us. Yeah, and she has been a very, good friend, and she's an interior designer. And she, as she's a good friend of all three of us, she wanted to grill them, and that is why, I also personally asked her, and she kindly agreed to be a part of this. Mansi Avadia will be joining us, and taking the question and answer session forward. So yeah, let's start the debate and let's get the clocks rolling. Yeah, Prasham Shah, are you ready for with your opening
Yep.
statements? 5 minutes. Three, two, one. You can start.
All right. A very good evening. This is the proposition Prasham Shah to the topic. First of all, I would like to start by amending today's topic. I think the topic should not be is India becoming a Hindu nation. It should be is Bharat becoming a Hindu Rashtra. So first of all, let's start by understanding what does a Hindu Rashtra mean. India adopting Hinduism as its official religion, all the while remaining secular and open to other religions. I think that is what a Hindu Rashtra means. It is having pride in India's Hindu origin, and it does not in any which ways translate to sending all Muslims away or legitimizing violence and communalism against any particular religion. Today's debate is not about the proposition or opposition subscribing to the Hindutva ideology. What we think or what the proposition opposition, both of them think about for the purpose of the debate is not which side is right or wrong, but it is the plain and simple discussion of the facts and is the reality of this if the and it is about the reality of this possibility. Could India or is India becoming a Hindu Rashtra? First, let's understand when is a country called one having no official religion. It is not just about having the word secular in the constitution. It's about governments treating all religious groups as equals. Today's debate will be structured in four basic uh, pillars, in my opinion. And I think we'll start by setting up the premise. We'll discuss is the fabric of India truly secular and how is India becoming a Hindu Rashtra and then we can take on the arguments one by one. Lastly, I'd like to point out that all of my debates, at least, all of my arguments are constructed on data. I believe that debates uh, are fought with logic but proven with data. So, at any point in time, if the oppositions wants the sources of any data that I quote, let me know. I have all of them ready, and I'll be willing to share each statistic that I point out. So, looking forward to a very healthy discussion, and over to you, Pratap.
Yeah, Prasham, Pratap, are you ready with your
Yeah.
opening statement? Okay, 3, 2, 1, and you can start.
First of all, I agree to the amendment that is made. I second that amendment, and it is passed. Okay. Next up, the proposition has very neatly uh, turned the tide into his favor by amending the or manipulating the meaning of Hindu Rashtra and what Hindu Rashtra is, what it can be. He has basically covered all the points that I could ever throw at him, but I have a few more, don't worry. So yeah, those points he has covered, but let's get back to what Hindu Rashtra really means. On one hand, the basic idea of a Hindu Rashtra could be on the basis of population कि अगर इस कंट्री में हिंदू पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो ये हिंदू राष्ट्र है तो बाय दोज मीन्स इंडिया इज ऑलरेडी अ हिंदू राष्ट्र सो देयर इज नो डिबेट हैपनिंग ऑन दैट फ्रंट the debate the concept of Hindu Rashtra that we will be talking about today is saying that Hinduism is a better, is a more adoptable and a more preferred religion in this country. This is what the government is going towards. This is what India is going towards. ओके इज इंडिया बिकमिंग अ हिंदू राष्ट्र डज नॉट मीन कि पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो वो है नहीं, वो तो है ही, वो तो पता है. उसके अलावा मेकिंग हिंदुइज्म दी एज ही सेड ऑफिशियल रिलीजन, adopted religion of this country, saying that Hinduism is what is followed in this country, बाकी सब उसके बाद आता है. That is not what is happening right now in India because India has the word secularism and it is following that secularism in this country. Okay. Apart from that, there are certain facts, certain data that shows that in 2001 in India there was 80.45% of the total population that was Hindu. Come 2011, it reduced to 79.8. अब 80.4 से 79.8 is not a very big change. लेकिन if it was moving towards Hindu राष्ट्र तो ये नंबर बढ़ना चाहिए था. The Hindus should have increased in this country, which is not the fact. Thanks to COVID, we don't have a 2021 census report right now. So we can't talk about 2020 or 2021 ka population data, but this is what we have. So going by that logic, if India was moving towards becoming a Hindu Rashtra and considering Hindutva over anything else, तो ये नंबर बढ़ना चाहिए था पर वो कम हुआ है. Other points will come as we go ahead. So yeah, those were my opening statements.
Great. Amazing opening statement. Now let's start with the rebuttal. Prasham Shah starts. Prasham Pratap follows. मैं 1 minute 30 seconds पे I'll give you a nod. Sorry. Yeah, 1 minute 30 seconds.
Or I will.
Audible now? Yeah. So at 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll give you a nod. Just 30 seconds remaining. And I won't stop you at 2 minutes. उसके आगे के जो भी points हैं, those won't be counted valid. So
at 2 also we
rebuttal में time
2 minutes.
rebuttal में time नहीं होने वाला था ना?
नहीं टाइम है 2 मिनट्स का, 6 रिबटल राउंड का एंड उसके अपन 3-4 आगे ये कर लेंगे. हाँ तो या प्रशम शाह में स्टार्ट इन 3, 2, 1 go.
Whatever we agree as to the definition of Hindu Rashtra, I'm pretty sure that it has nothing to do with the population numbers, right? It is more intrinsically the thoughts and the beliefs that people share about the country that shape what the country actually is. First, let's talk about what the public think of this entire proposition. All of us know that BJP since 2014, election after election, Modi Amit duo with RSS foundations have been sweeping elections left, right, and center. No pun intended. This is not an isolated happening, but a phenomenon across India. And the duo's electoral mandate is very clear. Even before they come to power, they'd communicated that they would bring in changes like Article 370, Ram Mandir, CAA. All political parties are required to publish a mandate that things they would do when they come in power, and all of them are clearly visible in the BJP's mandate. This shows the sentiment of Indians has been changing. It is a will of the Indian majority that this happens. Unless, if that was not the case, they would not come in power in the very first place. And they know their politics, they know where their vote bank lies, and all they have to do to get to that is target that vote bank. So that is where most of their votes, most of their seats come from, the Hindu heartland, and they're pretty fine with not wanting to sweep the entire country and just sweep where they can get enough seats from. So again, I'd just like to point out that today's debate is not if BJP is right or wrong. It is about the plain facts. Is India becoming a Hindu Rashtra? So yeah, don't you think that this change in the will of the Indian majority is being portrayed by election after election, and that is the position that we are in today?
Yeah, Prasham, you can start in 3, 2, 1, go. You went also, Prasham, Shah, you went 15 seconds over time, but you ended with a question, so that just counts. So yeah, Prasham, Pratap, also just end with a question so that the other person can, take it over from there. Yeah, Prasham, Pratap, you can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so the Amit and Narendra Modi duo is sweeping elections after election wherever, but it is not interested in those who do not have that kind of vote bank. The places where they do not have their vote bank, according to the proposition, they are not interested in those states. It's like कि यहाँ पे नहीं मिलने वाला पता है, तो यहाँ पे हिंदुत्व करके नहीं चलने वाला. Okay, so by that logic, if and when the BJP remains in power and converts the entire country, let's say it happens someday. Now it's not happening. I completely disagree that India is turning into a Hindu Rashtra. But if and when it happens, are you trying to say that India will leave behind Punjab, India will leave behind Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, the states where BJP is not in power, and say that जहाँ पे है वहाँ पे उसको हिंदू राष्ट्र बना देते हैं, बाकी में तो अपने को वैसे भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं, वहाँ पे लोग मेरी बात सुन ही नहीं रहे, तो मुझे वहाँ पे सुनाना भी नहीं. Is this how you are going to? Are you trying to divide India into ये नहीं है हिंदू, ये है हिंदू, तो सब there is a line in between. All non-Hindus go to this side, all Hindus remain on that side, and let's have fun. Is this what you are trying to say? Is my first question. Do I have time? Yeah, so we briefly discussed about CA. I'll come to that point next. But yeah, I have already questioned the proposition. So the proposition can go ahead and answer that question.
Also,
so again, it is.
मैं 30 seconds पे ये दे रहा हूँ thumbs up. तो after this you have 30 seconds.
तो 2 मिनट पे भी दूसरा भी दे दे.
नहीं, मैं बोला ना, मेरे को आगे का काउंट करना है ना कि कितना कट हो रहा है, फिर मैं वहां से तुम लोग को अगर बता के काटो कि इतना कट हो रहा है, तो doesn't make sense. So I will be giving only one thumbs up for 1 minute 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, Prasham, you may start.
Okay. So it isn't what the proposition thinks might happen. The proposition is plain and simply putting forward facts. Now it is up to the opposition to accept it or ignore it. But the proposition is telling real facts, what is happening with the structure of India. And BJP and the RSS-backed BJP knows its politics. It could not care less if India is divided on this particular front if they can get their ultimate goal. So I've read at length about the RSS ideology, and I'm quoting from their webpage on the RSS mission and vision. Quote unquote, from its inception, the goal before the song was to attain Param Vaibhav of the Hindu Rashtra. A force that is so openly and verbally working towards a Hindu Rashtra when given the support and right conditions, not to mention multitudes of votes, will rise up and step in to fulfill its main goal and prima facie agenda. So, yes, I do believe that the government on a national level, at a macro level, cannot care less which states follow in or not, because when it makes policies, it makes it for the entire country and not for states. When something like this is imposed, it will be done on a country level and not individually states wise. So my question is that does the opposition not believe that what does the proposition not have understanding of what the RSS ideology is, and how coming in power for the last 8 years, the entire fabric of this ideology, the entire mental perception of this ideology is changing.
Okay, can I
Okay,
go?
Prasham, yeah, please.
Yeah, so I have complete understanding of whatever the proposition just mentioned, but by that logic, then why was BJP struggling so much to get into power in West Bengal just a few months back? छोड़ देते. You don't care less about the states that you don't have right now. Why are you struggling so much and slogging so hard to get in power into those states right now? And my question is, I'll continue my point, but my question right now is, if India is going towards becoming a Hindu Rashtra, then what are the steps that are already taken by the government to make it a Hindu Rashtra? Okay, coming to CAA now, and CAA, the amendment says that all Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Christians, Buddhists, and of course Jains from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan will be granted citizenship of India if they have been living here for more than 5 years prior to 31st December 2014. 31st December 2014 के पहले अगर 5 साल से आप यहाँ पे रह रहे हो and you are an illegal migrant or a refugee of any of these 3 countries, then you are allowed to stay in India and you will be granted Indian citizenship. जब हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाना है तो हम क्यों इनको दे रहे हैं citizenship? Why are these people given the citizenship when you want India to become at the end of the day a Hindu Rashtra? I'll tell you why. Because Hinduism as a religion believes that all religions lead to God. Okay, that is one of the biggest reasons why we have a country which has a person originating from every single religion residing within its boundaries. Tell me one other religion who says this. Are we talking about Hindu Rashtra? To add to that, even atheism is considered legal and perfectly okay in Hinduism. But जब तुम सबको अंदर ले ही रहे हो, so then you are not actually making a Hindu Rashtra, are you?
True.
Yeah, Prasham, Shah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
The CA is a completely misinterpreted bill that came up. So the first ever resolution of the Working Committee of Congress Party on November 24th, 1947 was precisely this. Those Hindus and Sikh who are coming into Assam, Bengal, Punjab are coming there because of religious persecution and they should be given citizenship. That is the Working Committee resolution of the Congress of 1947. Today the same bill has come up, but the Congress, the left, the Muslims and the pseudo-liberals, all of them are doing somersaults about it. It has nothing to do with Muslims, but it is for the protection of minorities of other countries. But the opposition side does not want to hear the issue or even read the bill. Now, when we talk about Hindu Rashtra, it does not, like I mentioned in my opening statement, it does not mean that all religions except Hinduism are to be banished from India. It just means that on a country level, the stance of the government would be to support Hinduism and give benefits to Hindus at the same time. So it is the concept and it is the ideology of accepting Hinduism as the religion, not removing all non-Hindu people from India. because that is something that happens with all countries. All countries have people who are not their official religions staying in the country. So that is not the point itself. Uh, so my entire premise behind this point is the entire CAA bill is not about uh, Muslims and not letting them come in, but it is for the protection of minorities. So when all these minorities that you just mentioned want to call some place their home, what is their home? It is India. And a Hindu Rashtra is completely fine and open to that idea. Over to the opposition.
Yeah, Prasham, Pratap, you can start.
Okay, so the proposition just mentioned that opposition is not ready to read the bill, but the proposition just mentioned the exact same words that I did. So how is it that I read any different from the proposition? I don't understand that thing. Next up, we have a preamble to the constitution, which is adopted from USA, okay? And it is the second largest democracy in the world today. What does it say? It says, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. This was passed in our Constituent Assembly. All right. So, if India is becoming a Hindu Rashtra, why hasn't there been a change in the preamble and the Constitution yet? Okay. अगर नाम बदल के फिर लोगों को डरा के काउ स्लॉटर रोक के एंड में जाके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन विल बी रीरिटन, इजंट इट अ कंप्लीटली हॉरिबल मूव? तुम पहले छोटे छोटे स्टेप लेके फिर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बदल रहे हो. You are only increasing the anger amongst the public by the steps that you are taking. Do the other way around. First change the constitution, then ask the people that you have to now adopt to this constitution. Doesn't that make more sense? Isn't it less time consuming and energy consuming? And the way the proposition is portraying the idea of a Hindu Rashtra, I don't think that is the correct way. Hindu Rashtra अगर होता है तो उसमें everyone around the country has been saying that when we are looking towards a Hindu Rashtra, we are looking towards exploitation of the minorities and Hindutva getting priority over everything else. And yeah, I have mentioned my question, and thanks for quoting Subramaniam Swamy in your speech. I also saw that video.
Great. Good to know there is being research going on. So, yeah, I forgot. What was one point that you asked me to talk on?
Why don't you first change the constitution and then ask the people to just adopt that?
Fair enough. So, for a democracy like India, constitution is a very holy book. Amendments in that and changes in that is one of the last step that comes in, because it decides and it shapes how people think, how rules are passed, how judgments are made, everything, right? So that is the last step in the hierarchy when all of India is open and willing to the idea. It cannot in any circumstances be done the other way around. So there is a very, very beautiful theory. You must have obviously heard about BJP MLAs talking about killing all Muslims in India, or so very, very extremist activities, right? So there is a very beautiful concept called the Overton window when we talk about politics. For people to start accepting your opinions, you start suggesting extreme ideas in favor of your ideology. Although they might never come true, it would give your relatively less moderate ideas a very strong acceptance as a temporary placeholder. So if your politics talk about gay rights, you should start pushing towards legalizing gay marriages. Now, this might seem weird, but advocating for an extremist idea makes you more conservative, and the conservative ideas seem like a more acceptable norm, which people wouldn't even consider first. Now, BJP knows its politics. The Hindu right wing has been precisely using this Everton window theory. So all these extreme ideologies that you heard in BJP MLA speeches, they probably are not real opinions, but just a glance of the Overton window. So when you talk about the Hindutva image, कि और कोई रहेगा नहीं, it is about oppressing other religions, that is a shadow of this Overton window and not what the real opinion is.
Yeah, Prasham, Pratap, you can start.
ओके सो बेसिकली बीजेपी से वैसा ट्रायल बॉल पे ट्रायल बॉल डाले जा रही है, सेइंग दैट इनको मार देते उनको मार देते, करेंगे कुछ नहीं बोलने के लिए, लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस, वी जस्ट से समथिंग and then go back to what we are doing anyway, just saying things that are extremist which might not happen in real life. So if Hindu Rashtra is not exactly what is going to happen, then why first place?
Can I answer?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I think that is a misrepresentation of what just happened. When we say they float extremist ideas, Hindu Rashtra is not an extremist idea in their vision. And a lot of changes have been happening since then. So, since 2014, there has been a serial attack on secularism, especially the Muslims of India, from triple talaq without consulting stakeholders under the garb of justice to CAA, specifically targeting Muslim populations to communalize politics, to the Babri Masjid fiasco. Watch out for acts going ahead like Ram Janmabhoomi, Kashi Vishwanath Temple. They will surely happen, and that is what we mean when we say what they are going to do. So zoom back to 10 years earlier in Indian politics. Something like passing triple talaq or ending the Babri Masjid fiasco or CA would be very absurd ideas. But it is because of these very extremist ideas that you were okay with it and you let it happen in front of you while the media was staring, while everyone, even the electoral votes came in. So let me drop another very and this change is a very gradual process. It is not going to happen overnight within 4 years, within 8 years. This will take 12, 15, 20 years as long as it takes, but it will happen for sure. Let me drop another very uh, okay. So do you think that this is something that will happen? Aaj bola kal ho gaya? No, it is not. And this change, have you not seen a change within India's politics since 2014? So how can you call it कि कुछ नहीं हो रहा है while there is clearly a very distinct change in public opinions and how we treat our minorities?
Okay,
Yeah, Prasham,
so
Prasham, Pratap, you can go ahead.
yeah, so the things that I have said so far, I have clearly mentioned that things are taking step by step, they are happening. But it's just that I don't believe they are towards the ultimate goal of becoming a Hindu Rashtra. Okay, now there is a lot of misleading that has happened throughout this debate till now. Let's now get straight to the point. The nations which have an official religion, okay, Hindu Rashtra will have an official religion which will be Hinduism. Okay, the countries which have an official religion so far are either very extremist, they are definitely not a very liberal democracy. They definitely have a lot of exploitation of the minorities. They definitely have priorities set for themselves, and they do have no tolerance for the other religions. Okay, there is little to no tolerance for the other religions. Now let's just take the point of political parties in India. Let's only talk about the national parties, okay? Because those are the ones who have a strong and centered ideology. They function around an ideology. TMC, Trinamool Congress, it has an ideology of secularism. BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party, again secularism. BJP, we all know it's right-wing populism. CPI, Communist Party of India, is communism. Communist Party of India, Marxist, again communism. INC, Indian National Congress, secularism. Nationalist Congress Party, liberalism. National People's Party, ethnocentrism. At the religion level, we have AIMIM, Indian Union Muslim League. How are these parties still existing in India? और अगर ठीक है चलो ये बोल रहे हैं कि हम 12-15 साल लगेंगे to become a Hindu Rashtra, do you think these parties who are at in power currently in some or the other state have some influence over the people in those states? Do you think they are just going to vanish away in the next 15 years? How are you planning to do that?
Okay, this
So
was the
no one
last
is
round of debate. Uh, 1 second.
extend.
So extend करना है, Pratap. Okay, ठीक. Four more rounds of debate, and then we'll call the question and answer master. Yeah, Prasham Shah, you
So
can
no,
start.
no one is going to vanish overnight in 15 years. They will be diminished to a position where their opinions do not matter as much. And that is what becoming of an Hindu Rashtra is. So let me also, if the opposition can give me data as to countries wherein there is official religion, there has been persecution of other minorities. There are countries like Vatican City. There are countries like Denmark, Iceland. All of them have official religions, and they're just as tolerant to other religions. So the proposition that all the countries that have state religions are very biased and do not uh, accept other religions. So that's there. Uh, Another thing that we wanted to talk about is so till now there has been not a lot of uh, change in the dynamics. But let me drop another smirk inciting piece of statistics. The BJP-led NDA today has 353 seats in the Lok Sabha, a very comfortable majority in the House by BJP alone. Now, take your best estimate as to when the emergency was imposed back in 1977, how many seats did Miss Indira Gandhi in Congress have in the Lok Sabha at that time? The opposition, guess how many seats?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How many seats did Indira Gandhi's Congress have when it imposed the emergency back in 1977?
No idea.
मैं नहीं अटका है ना?
Nice.
52 was the
So
first.
Prasham Shah, you were lagging.
हाँ हाँ
Yeah, you can
शायद
repeat.
मेरा इंटरनेट खत्म होने वाला है, रुको 2 मिनट रुको.
आजा आजा. Also, one thing that I noticed in the chat, थोड़ा chat clean रखो. Don't demotivate anyone here. क्योंकि they are, providing you with actual unbiased opinions जो तुम्हें न्यूज में नहीं मिलने वाला. हम चिल्ला नहीं रहे यहाँ पे, तो प्लीज डोंट, मतलब थोड़ा क्लीन रखो चैट, नहीं तो मुझे नहीं तो अदरवाइज आई हैव टू. या anyway, also Prasham, Pratap, I had just one question to you before we go ahead. You mentioned that let's just cut off the misleads and get straight to the point. Can you explain that one question, please? That one point to me. Where was this misleading?
Yeah, so
Matlab-
I just mentioned that the way proposition has been projecting and portraying Hindu Rashtra to be like something that is very ideal, something that is very true to India's roots, it being very secular about other religions, it being very accepting to the other religions. So it is basically, अगर एक simple line में layman को समझाना है, तो what the proposition is saying is कि जो इंडिया आज है वही इंडिया आगे भी रहेगा, सिर्फ हम हिंदुत्व को अपना रिलीजन मान लेंगे. So that is not how it happens in countries where you have accepted a religion. You as BJP might not have that ideology, लेकिन people might take it the other way around, right? And we have 1.3 billion people.
Right. Okay. So I just had a confusion in that one point.
Yeah, I can explain further till he joins back.
Sure. Please go ahead. The stage is all
Yeah.
yours.
So it's basically when you have 1.3 billion people, we saw how CAA was taken, right? CAA as a bill, if you read the bill, it's a very good bill. Like many people have supported it, but we still saw protests. Same with farmers law, maybe, may not be, जो भी है, लेकिन our country always has people who will interpret it in 10 different ways, in 10 different states, in 10 different districts. Okay, so that is exactly what my point
Okay,
is.
so
Yeah.
answer करो.
हाँ जी प्लीज. आपका
So
आ गया अभी तक से?
yeah,
I cannot still see.
Congress back then. तेरे को दिख रहा है प्रताप?
आवाज आ रहा है लेकिन वीडियो
आवाज आ रहा है.
हाँ अभी ठीक है, वीडियो आया.
नहीं. और कुछ है तेरे पास बोलने के लिए? Also, a note to the audience कि if anyone asks for a source, then both of them will not send it to each other but to me.
Yeah, I've sent the
Okay.
source.
Yeah. I will just confirm that. Wikipedia official source है?
No, but it's the point that I've made in that chat, which I've told you. It says that Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these are three countries who have a official religion. Okay, and these are the countries where you are seeing yeah, religious exploitation, and that's why you brought in CA. Na? That is the exact same
Done.
case with almost all Islamic countries. I'll give you more sources
Okay.
if you want later.
Okay. No.
Okay,
Prasham
so
Shah, you asked for a source. 1 second.
हम्म,
Before you continue,
बाद में
you
भेज
asked for a source. हाँ
बाद
भेजा
में
ठीक
भेज
है तू
let
बोल
फ्लो टूट जाएगा
2
वरना फ्लो
सेकंड
टूट
बाद
जाएगा
में हाँ
ओके
प्लीज
ओके
गो अहेड
Uh, so back then we had 352 people from the same party. Today we have 353 of the NDA in the same party. So the sheer power that this number gives a clear-cut majority is enough to impose a national emergency. Now imagine if they want to start bringing in changes. I'll show you a scenario how that happens. The NDA has 118 seats in the Rajya Sabha out of the 245, and they need 123 to pass any bill. In the Lok Sabha, they have 353 seats. They need 362 to pass a bill. And we all know how this government can fight uphill battles. Some people will walk out of the court, the majority required number will fall down, they will easily get a majority, and the bill will be passed. That is the reality of facts, how they will start, uh, how they can start bringing in changes. So for the first 4 years, we did not have this level of majority. The BJP did not have this level of majority in the houses, and that is why it was a little harsh. But in the last 4 years, you have seen how many changes they've brought in. And what was one other point that you had said? और कुछ बोला था? So yeah, even if they might not have started bringing in changes, it is only been 8 years since we've seen them, and it might take a while for them to start truly and very rapidly bringing in the changes that they want to. And I think it is a very real possibility with the amount and the number of seats they have in both the lower house and the upper house to bring in changes. So
या
yeah, the
प्रशांत प्रताप
opposition, what do you think about
प्रशांत का ये done है
क्या?
या
Yeah,
प्रशांत
I
ने
think so. Yes.
actually done है या
Yeah.
प्रशांत शाह प्रताप you can start 3 2 1 go
Yeah, so this is a very good dreamland that the proposition seems to be living in कि 8 साल अगर वो लोग है and they can impose emergency, तो 15 साल बाद हिंदू राष्ट्र बन जाएगा. Who's to
अरे
say that
इमरजेंसी की
15
कोई
साल
बात नहीं
तक
कर रहा.
बीजेपी ही पावर में रहेगा, irrespective of whoever is the prime ministerial candidate of the opposition party or of the BJP. First of all, Narendra Modi is not going to be the prime ministerial candidate for the entire next term, 24 to 29, because he himself has made the rule कि 75 के बाद you need to retire. So if when the 2024 elections come in, he will be 74 years old. So he'll have to retire in 2025 if he is the prime ministerial candidate. And if he wins, okay, this is all built on the perception that BJP keeps winning the next 3 elections and eventually we become a Hindu Rashtra. You take one block out of that pyramid that you are making, to 2024 तुम जीत गए 29 तक, 29 का इलेक्शन हार गए तो अगर ये मेजोरिटी नहीं आई तो if the seats don't come to you, and are you like, see,
True,
this
true.
is what Hindu Rashtra means. Now when you are talking about emergency, when you are talking about exploitation of the people, emergency is basically exploitation of the people. The people are not very benefited through emergency. So to just impose a certain religion, you are willing to impose emergency in a country. That's great for a secular country. ऐसा भी नहीं है कि बहुत सारे riots हो रहे हैं और उसमें तुम emergency ले रहे हो. कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है. उसमें you are imposing emergencies just so that you can bring out a bill and say that Hindutva is our religion from now.
अरे भाई जैना वाईफाई आते रखना।
नेट
सॉरी, आवाज आ रहा है? सॉरी।
अब जा रहा है, सुन सक रहे हैं।
हाँ हाँ। So the implication that you drawed out of I don't know where, but you said कि emergency लगाएंगे और उसके बाद changes करेंगे, that is absurd. It was just a parallel to show कि वो seats में वो क्या कर सकते थे और now that they have these amount of seats वो क्या कर सकते हैं. No one has ever mentioned कि वो emergency लाके changes करेंगे. They do not need this in the first place. So, when we talk about India being so secular, let me just tell you how secular India is and how diverse India is. More than 90% of the Sikhs stay in Punjab, more than 80% of Christians live in northeastern Kerala. Central India is practically devoid of Muslims. So, where is the diversity? It is just clusters and pockets of minorities being bundled into a larger group to give the impression of diversity. I am again repeating, it is the clusters and pockets of minorities being bundled together into a larger group to give the impression of diversity. So when elections are fought, they are fought on a state by state basis, but religions and but rules are imposed on a national level. So get this, that even if they cannot win a couple of states here and there, the rules they will impose will be on a national level. And uh, agreed that Modi might not be able to come back as the PM, but there is no shortage of candidates. If it's not Modi, tomorrow it will be Yogi Adityanath, Amit Shah can take over. They have a lot of candidates to field. So Modi hoga nahi hoga, it is irrespective because it is the brand value. There has been no Muslim minister in 15 Indian states, and in 10 remaining states, there is only one Muslim minister who has been given the portfolio of Ministry of Minority Affairs. Out of 303 Lok Sabha members from the BJP, there is not even one single Muslim. So, what is this secularism that we are so fervently talking about? Now, that again comes to leads to my premise that India might seem diverse, but when we break it down into smaller pieces, India is not as diverse as we think because there are clusters of majority and minorities which are being bundled together as a united India, as a whole India. Over to the opposition.
Yeah, Prasham, Pratap, you can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I have two major points. First of all, the proposition either did not hear me properly or it was his net. But I said that what is to tell you that BJP does not come into power. I never said कि PM Modi will come into power. I said BJP, if BJP does not come into power, do you think Congress is going to take that Bhagwa Jhanda and say कि अरे करते हैं 5 साल इन्होंने किया इसको आगे बढ़ाते हैं. This is a very good initiative that BJP has taken. Let's go ahead with it. This is not going to happen, right? We are just under the impression that at the rate BJP has won the seats in 2014 and 19, they might sweep another couple of elections come 2024 and 29. Okay. Now, on the other hand, when BJP does not have a minister of state in the cabinet or in Lok Sabha, the same BJP, when it comes to fighting in panchayats, municipalities and corporation elections in Kerala, last year had 112 Muslims and 500 Christians standing in for BJP in Kerala. So where does the secularism come in again this time? It was thrown out of the window, right?
That is because
Prasham Shah,
BJP knows it's sorry, हाँ.
Yeah,
बोलूं
are
मैं?
you done, Prasham,
अच्छा.
Pratap?
Yeah.
So that is because
Okay,
BJP
then.
knows its politics. उसको पता है कि किधर क्या फील्ड करना है. अगर वो केरला में ही हिंदू 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 बोलेगा तो उसको वोट ही नहीं मिलने वाला है. Sorry, can I change languages? चलता है?
हाँ, please.
हाँ.
हाँ, आराम से.
So that is precisely my point. BJP is such a smart party that it knows what its politics is. It knows how to gamify elections. And you're right. We are under the presumption that BJP will come into power, but that again is a very very real possibility because currently India lacks a very strong opposition. The Congress is falling up, TMC, all of them are not national parties. However, fervently they might want to be. The left has retreated to its strongholds. So take any other state which has the will to fight BJP off, they can. But on a national level, there is no opposition to BJP, A. B, the ideology of people is changing. The people in the Hindu heartland, which is the core BJP vote, 30% of this vote is never going to change from BJP, whereas the Congress का core vote जिसको बोलते हैं, the voters who are always, no matter what, going to vote for Congress, that number has been falling, and that number for BJP has been rising. So it's true that this is under the presumption that BJP comes into power, but again, that presumption is a very true and a very real possibility. So yeah.
Okay, before Prasham Pratap replies to this is the last statement of Prasham Pratap that we will be hearing. Do we need any more extensions? We can go ahead with one last round after this one. Do we need that?
I am okay either way.
Okay, Prasham Shah, your call.
ठीक है.
चलेगा, एक लास्ट राउंड है इसके बाद. If Prasham Shah's internet graces us with it.
है इधर ही.
हाँ चलेगा. तो ये इसके बाद एक लास्ट राउंड, then we can go ahead. हाँ, Prasham Pratap, you can start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to know the source of the data that says कि सेंट्रल इंडिया में बीजेपी का जो वोट बैंक है वो कभी चेंज ही नहीं होने वाला है. I would like the source of this data, because this is just, I think, shooting arrows in the wild. The other thing is कि this is again based on the presumption कि BJP keeps coming back to power, right? And now you look at what they are doing. You look at how we are still a very secular. Now I'll make my points. How we are a very secular country still, and not moving towards being a Hindu Rashtra. These are very basic things that the BJP could have done, but they have chosen not to do it. Okay. The latest one being today's news. Tata Sons has backed Air India again. Who is Tata? Tata is a Parsi family. It is a minority family, and you have given an asset, though in very deep depths, it is still a company that is widely regarded as something big. उसको तुमने वापस टाटा को दिया है. Now it was theirs, but that does not mean that they should have got it again. Okay, that is one thing. The other thing, during the CAA protests that were going on, AIMIM, now I'll tell you the full form of this. All India Majlis-e-Ittehadul Muslimin, a complete Muslim-centric party which operates from Telangana, went to Delhi. The leader of this party, Asaduddin Owaisi, went to Delhi and said, I quote, इस लड़ाई को हमको और आगे लेकर जाना है, कम से कम और 3 महीने तक बरकरार रखना है. We need to fight this bill, CAA and NRC, for at least 3 more months. What could BJP have done? This was very like propagating hate. And if you can just pelt stones at someone, and if you can put anyone into jail, you could have very well put this man into jail, right? What did BJP do instead? He was out. He did not go into jail. This was secularism. You gave him the freedom of speech. You gave him the freedom of movement.
India is at its core a democracy. It is not about punishing everyone left and right who opposes your views, right? ऐसा रहेगा तो there is no democracy left in India. But
लेकिन हिंदू राष्ट्र बनने के बाद democracy बचेगा?
No, it will for a fact, because Hindu Rashtra does not mean that you kill all non-Hindus, you banish all non-Hindus away. It is living with the fact that Hinduism is the national religion and superior. So just let me draw you a parallel. The voters of Hindutva either do not care or marginally care about other aspects of governance. In the core vote I am talking about. In March 2021, we are in the 4th year of the 13th quarter, 39th month of sequential decline in GDP. This is government data, and we are at historically high unemployment levels, historically low labor force participation levels. This data has been taken from NSSO, which also says that Indians were already poor and eating less in 2018 than in 2013, and we have declined further since. So again, when we talk about the core voters of BJP knows that despite it not being able to perform, it will retain this vote bank, and that is what the entire premise is, right? When we talk about giving a leg up to other religions, sorry, a leg down to other religions and a leg up to Hindus, let me point out one more thing. Uh, one very key point about no official religion is governments avoiding to give tangible benefits to one religious group over others. In India, you get tax benefits for being a Hindu. According to the Income Tax Act, multiple religions are considered Hindu, like Jains, Sikhs, except Muslims and Christians. Only Hindus are allowed to file a separate tax return in the form of an HUF, a Hindu undivided family. And only Hindu families get to save 5 lakh on additional income, a privilege which is not extended to other religions. So what does that talk about? Giving one particular religious group a leg up over others. So
Yeah, also there is no time limit for this round as this is the final one. Yeah, Prasham Pratap, you can go ahead and end this one.
Okay. So now, when you talk about it being superior, okay, I'm quoting the proposition now. Hindu religion will be considered superior in a Hindu Rashtra. Okay. So now BJP and RSS, while making and thinking about a Hindu Rashtra, would say ki yeah, Hindu will be our official religion, but everything else will logically remain same. There will be some tangible benefits, as the proposition mentioned, that might be extended towards the Hindus and not to the other religions. But what about the impact that it will have on the population of the country? How do you think? Do you think 1.3 billion people are going to react in the same mature, rational way, saying that yeah, from tomorrow, Hindu is the religion of this country, and if we are not a part of it, we accept it. We are a minority. We'll go. We still have the freedoms that were given to us by the constitution, so we'll follow that. But Hindus will be a touch above us. Hindus, on the other hand, will think, wow, we are superior now. Now we have all the power that we needed. We are the dominant religion in this country. You are inviting riots, you are inviting violence to a country which is not propagating violence for so long. It has been a peaceful country for so long. Within the country I'm talking about. Okay. बाहर जो हो रहा है वो तो अलग ही बात. And talking about outside relations, today when you have such great strong foreign relations with other countries, you are not looked upon as a Hindu religion based country, a country which only gives some benefits to one religion and looks down upon the other. By making it a Hindu Rashtra, you are maybe, you never know, people countries might take a different stand against you. You might just ruin everything that Modi has done so far for this country. He might himself ruin it if he does it while he is in power. So how is Hindu Rashtra going to benefit this country? And currently, as I've mentioned on numerous occasions, that currently we are not moving towards it, and we should not be moving towards it. That's it. I rest my case.
Okay, Prasham Shah, I heard you wanted to say something. You can close your case in the last statement of the season.
So lastly, again, since the very beginning, I think the entire opposition's case has been fought upon what might happen, what will be done, and it is currently not right. अभी ऐसा नहीं है तो future में ऐसा नहीं होगा. I think that is the entire premise of the opposition. But let me tell you, let me raise a scenario. What is a Hindu Rashtra? It is not just about the official religion. It is about people making peace and accepting Hindu ideologies. In India, that is something that is being fostered over centuries. For instance, most Hindus, 81%, believe that the holy Ganga river has the power to purify. Now, interestingly, 66% of Jains, a quarter of Muslims, and a 1/3 of Christians also believe that. Christians, Muslims, Hindus, what do they have to do with Ganga? But that is how intertwined and embedded Hinduism is within the fabric of India and the mindsets of Indians. When we talk about India, 94% of world's Hindus reside in India, and this demography, I am taking this data from the Pew Research. When we extend religious population, when we project religious populations to the year 2050, Hindus would still currently be 1300 million in population, which is roughly 80% of the population in 2050. So this idea of an exploding population of other religions is absolutely bogus, and Hindus will always remain a majority in India. And BJP knows this very clearly, and its fight is, and its all its operations are for that majority, and that will happen over time. So that is what the opposition's case is, that it has only been 8 years since BJP has been in power, and the proposition says that they have done nothing since then, but I am not sure what he will call Article 370, the Ram Mandir, CA, all of them. If not steps towards Hindutva, what are they? Please let me know. Thank you.
Okay. So, Prasham, Pratap, I am sorry, this was the last year, but now you have to. Do you have something to answer to that? In 2 minutes at max, please continue. Please complete. In 1 minute. Sorry, 2 minutes.
Okay,
1 minute.
sure,
Please
sure.
complete.
Okay, so first of all, this is a future-based topic that we have today. Is India moving towards becoming a Hindu Rashtra? Okay, so basically, propositions debate is also based on an assumption that BJP will keep coming to power for the next 15 years and eventually make it a Hindu Rashtra. So it is not just me who is working on assumptions. Okay, the second part is Article 370 wasn't done to make it a Hindu state. It was done to announce to the world that Kashmir is a part of India and it will always be a part of India. It was not to make it कि हाँ अब कश्मीर आ गया, अब कश्मीर के जो मुस्लिम्स हैं उनको भगा भगा के हिंदुत्व विल प्रीच हिंदुत्व देयर, विल मेक इट अ पार्ट ऑफ हिंदू राष्ट्र. नो, इट वाज डन to make it a part of India, a secular India, a India that stands secular till now. The Ram Mandir issue that has been going on since 1990, somewhere around the 1990 odd year, and from there on, it was a court case. It came into, it passed a resolution during the Narendra Modi government, and it was not done so that, array, it is a point towards Hindutva. It was not, the case did not start in 2014 to end in 2019 or 20. The case has been going on since long. It has been going on since the Congress was in power, और उसका सिर्फ रेजोल्यूशन अभी आया है, ठीक है. एंड सीएए में यू आर एनीवेज ब्रिंगिंग इन क्रिश्चियंस, जैन, सिख्स, एवरीवन इनटू द कंट्री. It's just Muslims that you are keeping out. So how is it Hindu Rashtra? You are not just inviting Hindus to come in. You are inviting all other religions, and those that too not inviting people who are already living in this country will be awarded the citizenship of this country. You are not inviting anyone, so it is not a part of Hindu Rashtra. Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes to write the closing statements. Start right now. Till the time they write, I'll just confirm that Prasham Pratap did send his sources to me, and I have checked them.
I would
And
like to
yeah,
have that source that I asked you about.
कौन सा?
The fact that you said कि सेंट्रल इंडिया में जो हिंदूज है उनका वोट बैंक कभी भी चेंज ही नहीं होने वाला है इन द फ्यूचर.
A note to everyone, a note to both of the participants, please do not include any new points in the closing statements as they won't be counted valid. Just make a closing statement as a summary of the entire speech that you were standing for and against. And yeah, whenever you guys are ready, uh, Prasham Pratap, you will be going first.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you are ready.
Okay, I can. Yeah. What is the time limit?
Um, Please stretch it to 5 minutes. The Q&A host is running a bit, late. She'll be here in 10 minutes. So
Okay, so I can
दोनों
take. Okay,
please.
so I'll take a minute more to structure my speech.
हाँ हाँ चलेगा नो प्रॉब्लम. अपने को 8:56, 57 तक तो रुकना ही है. तो तुम लोग को जितना लिखना है लिख लो. कोई इसीलिए आई डिड नॉट स्टॉप यू व्हेन 2 minutes वर डन.
Okay, I can start now.
या
Karu
प्लीज
start?
गो अहेड. हाँ हाँ
Okay.
प्लीज.
Okay, so now I would just summarize all my points and say, like, I'll make my point towards why I think there is no evidence that India is moving towards becoming a Hindu Rashtra. Okay, CA, as I mentioned, is a bid to award citizenship to not just Hindus but all other religions except Muslims. Now, why not Muslims? Because the countries mentioned in CAA are Muslim dominant countries with Muslim as their official religion. And CAA states that we will only allow those people and give citizenship to those people who have faced religious persecution. When you talk about religious persecution, तो Muslim is considered as a whole unit. उसमें फिर शिया और सुन्नी की डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं होती है. These are the two main types of Muslim in this world. Okay, so that is one thing. CAA में सभी religions है. It is not about just Hindus. Going forward, the way BJP fielded over 600 Muslims and Christians in Kerala, if you were so Hindu centric, if you believe that Hinduism is a very superior religion than others, why resort to giving tickets to other religions? You can start it here, right? If you have a game plan of 10 years in mind, this is the least you could do to show us that you are doing something to make India a Hindu Rashtra. Okay, so this is because why didn't BJP do this? Because BJP at the end of the day is also a power hungry party. It will extract power from wherever it will get it, by however means they will get it, be it from a Hindu, from a Muslim, from a Christian, from a Parsi, anywhere. Okay. Also, another thing that BJP should be doing, this is my advice, if and only if BJP is looking towards a Hindu Rashtra, why are we still getting elongated holidays on Christmas? Why are we still getting holidays on Eid? Why are we still getting holidays of Good Friday and Easter? Easter तो वैसे भी संडे होता है तो उसको छोड़ दो, but Good Friday is a holiday that we get every year. So if you are talking towards a Hindu Rashtra, this is the least you could do, because you claim that Hindu is a very superior religion as compared to others. All right. Then we talked about Tata being a Parsi family. Okay. To extend that point further, Azim Premji, the founder of Wipro, comes from a Gujarati Muslim family. He contributes a lot to India being India Wipro is a very big company, right? There is Cyrus Poonawalla, whose son Adar Poonawalla gave you the 2 shots of vaccine against COVID that you have right now on your body. Okay, so that guy, again a Parsi. So why did the government go to these people in times of need when they wanted a Hindu Rashtra? There are other companies, there are other pharma companies. Rutuparna might know it well, very well. India में बहुत सारे pharma companies है. You could have gone to anyone, but you went to a Parsi. Why go to a minority when you are looking at the bigger picture of a Hindu Rashtra? See, at the end of the day, India has been secular for the last 75 years. India is functioning very well, being a secular country. India has curbed its riots, communal discrepancies, and the disparities that we have had in the 90s, in early 2000 in Gujarat, the riots that we saw. Those are all long gone, long forgotten. उसको वापस क्यों गड़े मुर्दे क्यों उखाड़ने? Modi has the closest experience of seeing what riots look like when Hindus and Muslims are provocated towards each other, right? So when you know what is going to happen, why do you want to go and whisper in everyone's ear saying तू नहीं है मेन, वो देखो सामने हिंदू खड़ा है, वो तेरे से ज्यादा सुपीरियर है, क्या होगा आगे? What will happen? What do you think? They'll go and hug each other saying अरे वाह today you won. This is not what is going to happen, right? As I told Rutuparna while Prasham was facing some problems with his net, we have 1.3 billion people. They are going to interpret this thing in 1.3 billion different ways. They are going to go about accepting this fact in various different ways. It is only going to lead to differences. You will have to sit and narrate a 1500 page pura aisa scripture telling them ki why we made this decision, why is it in your benefit even if you are a minority, and why is it in your benefit if you are a majority, and how you should cordially live together even after this decision is made. So I don't think it is necessary. I don't think India is going towards that, and that is a very good stance that India is taking. India is a secular country, should remain a secular country, and will remain a secular country. Thanks.
Great. Prasham, Shah, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you can go ahead.
The entire premise of the opposition is that India will remain secular, and that is true. That is true. Adopting or India becoming a Hindu Rashtra does not mean that we scrap secularism from day one, from today. It does not translate into sending all Muslims away, nor does it legitimize violence or communism. While BJP came into power, and even before they came into power, they had communicated that they will bring in changes like 370, Ram Mandir, CA. This shows the sentiments of Indian citizens has been changing, and it is the will of the Indian majority that they come to power, and they have been constantly coming to power, not just national elections, but a lot of state elections as well. And when we talk about shaping public opinion, you might not have made your peace with the Overton window, but that is something that is very true and very real. And that is what is happening in India currently. When we talk about a very estranged and a very assertive, a very extremist Hindu Rashtra, that is not what the actual Hindu Rashtra will look like, but it is a way to ease, and it is a way to make the Hindu Rashtra that they imagine more acceptable and considerable. Now, coming on to political power to allow this to happen, like I shared the statistics, with the current number of seats and not assuming any increases in the future, which probably will happen, the government can at any point of time start bringing in changes in the constitution, in the bills, start bringing in bills. So there is political power to allow this to happen, but understand this, that changes like these, as drastic as these, cannot be done in 3 to 4 years, in 8 years. This is a very long process, and it is not just on the laws that this happens, but in the mentality and the mindsets of people that this change occurs. So from triple talaq without consulting stakeholders to CAA to communalized politics, although whatever we might say about CA, all of us know how it has been used to communalize politics in Assam, in uh, Kashmir, all of that, and the Babri Masjid fiasco. Going ahead, there will for sure be acts like Ram Janmabhoomi, Kashi Vishwanath Temple. They will surely happen, and BJP knows their politics. They need power to make changes. So our entire proposition about fielding Christians, fielding Muslims in different states is because they know and they are smart enough to do this. Again, India becoming a Hindu Rashtra does not mean that you will discard all of these populations. Yeah, so the opposition spoke about why we took help from Parsis when we were facing troubles. That is not what Hindu Rashtra means, right? It is about living together with all religions, but knowing which religion is where. And India can be secular and democratic at the same time while being a Hindu Rashtra. So, उनको क्या changes करने हैं? I think the opposition said this in his closing vision page. From its inception, the goal of the Sangh was to attain Param Vaibhav of the Hindu Rashtra. That pretty much sums up the entire debate. And one last point that I'd like to bring up is when we talk about giving priority to one religion over the other, all Hindu families get to save additional 5 lakhs of income, a privilege that is not extended to other religions. So if this is not a very clear-cut example of how changes on a very grassroots level are being made, please let me know how what you consider this to be. And again, summarizing the entire debate, this is not something that is going to happen within the next 2 days or because the government thinks they have the power, they will start making changes left, right. It is a very fundamental and a very grassroots approach that they have adopted to this, and that is why we believe that the proposition believes that India will eventually become a Hindu Rashtra, and what will aid this is the BJP government with the RSS ideologies that it has. Thank you.
Great. Overall, a very healthy debate, a very amazing debate. But a small problem was that Prasham Shah hasn't still sent the sources. If you have, you can send it before the Q&A round.
So again, I think I never mentioned a key statistic कि इतना % है ही और वो कहीं जाने नहीं वाला है. It is a basic understanding or basic framework that the core Hindu voters in the heartland, they have been traditionally subscribing to the Hindutva ideology and the BJP ideology, and they have been voting in that favor since a long time. So I can share you a link as to where BJP gets its votes from, and if you analyze the data within that, it will be quite evident what their the change in votes, that will be quite evident indication of the same. So I'll send that across to you.
Hanji Prasham, bolo.
So I am not asking for the statistic, but I quote the proposition, and I think Rutuparna might remember this, that he said the central India will keep voting for BJP come what may because of their Hindu inclinations. My point here is, if they have that inclination and they have been putting it out, if they have been voting for BJP, how is it that Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan today have a Congress, have a non-BJP government?
Heartland India.
Has a non-BJP.
Heartland India, not Central India. That is the key difference.
While making the point, he said Central India and not Heartland India.
No. I've never said Central India except for the point
No, no,
when I said
he did
there are
mention,
practically मैं बता दूँ.
he did mention that.
There are practically no Muslims in Central India is practically devoid of Muslims. वो मैंने बोला था. But whenever I've referred to the core vote bank of BJP, I've always mentioned, or I have always kept in mind the Hindu heartland, which is UP, which is Bihar. That heartland, you understand what the heartland is, right?
एक क्वेश्चन है इन द कमेंट्स बाय आनंद तीर्थ राव. ये बिल और कब और इक्विवेलेंट कब पास हुआ प्रशम शाह 5 लाख वाला?
This is something that is remained in the constitution, in the income tax laws since a very long time. I'm not sure exactly when it was passed, but this has been in the framework of Indian income tax since a very long time.
Okay, ठीक है. Let me check if we have the here.
So Anand, it essentially goes कि
Let me
all
just speak.
Hindu families. हाँ बोल.
Please go ahead.
All Hindu families can put in a new file called the HUF. So whatever their family name might be, that HUF, and they can file for an additional income, a source of income. So that is what the entire concept is, if you haven't understood.
Okay, so by BJP or not? Can you please repeat the tax law?
क्या?
By
Just
Saket Athalye as well as
Just Google HUF income tax.
one second. HUF income tax. Okay, yeah, sure. If anyone wants to see, I'll just show it to them here.
And that is a very clear example of how one particular religion is being given a preference over others when it comes to something as essential as filing income and paying taxes for it.
Great. So I hope the question and answer master is ready. I'll just introduce her once.
Just one point. When the proposition says that the heart of India has been voting for BJP, let me just remind him that UP में योगी आदित्यनाथ के पहले अखिलेश यादव was the chief minister, who is a part of the Samajwadi Party. The ideology of Samajwadi Party is left-wing populism, not right-wing populism.
See
so
how much. नहीं factual error नहीं. Who has been voting for BJP since then? वो देख. Who is coming into power? That is second question. But vote किसको कौन कर रहा है वो देख. So for all this time, Hindutva was not as vocal and as discussed an idea as it was, and that is why a lot of these seculars came, and also because it was of their own work that they did on the ground. So there is no denying the fact कि वो power में आए थे, but always there is been a particular section of the Hindu heartland who has been voting for the Hindutva ideology, because there is a massive communal dispute, a massive communal क्या बोलते हैं separation between the Muslims and the Hindus in the heartland.
That logic is true for every part of this country. कुछ सेक्शन तो करता ही है ना बीजेपी को. बीजेपी is not always on zero piece every time they go in.
वही तो point है कि
that does not help your point, no. If the heart of India has always been voting for BJP, so BJP should have been power always.
अरे भाई, there has always been one section of that society that has been voting for, that has been subscribing to that ideology. It is not कि पूरा का पूरा यूपी यही वोट करता है. that is wrong. There is a section of the society which, and because UP and all of them are so populous states, that is why it gives BJP the final push to reach in the national elections.
Okay. Hoping no cross questions here. Yeah, the question and answer section will be taken by Mansi Avadhia, who is not only a dear friend of ours, but is also an interior designer by profession, and is very keenly interested in topics like these. And since she's a friend of all three of us, she takes dear pleasure in grilling all three of us. And here today, she'll be here to question both Prashams. So let's invite her in. Yeah.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Mansi. Hi, how are you
Hello.
doing?
Am I
Hello.
audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, and am I
Uh,
clear?
yeah, you are perfect.
Okay,
Um,
great.
yeah. So first of all, did you see the debate and how? What are your opinions?
I did. I did. I was traveling when I was seeing this debate, and me and my co-passengers have thoroughly enjoyed it. And we have had a debate of our own on the side going on with when you all were debating. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah,
So yeah, what do you have for both of them? Have you prepared anything, or were you just going
I was
extempore?
super nervous. I was, to be honest, I was super nervous when I even told you that I'm going to need your help and all. But I think I have calmed down a little now since the debate is over and everything. I have a few questions for both of you all.
Great. So
I
please take it
would,
away.
yeah, I would start with Prasham Pratap, the opposition. Since secular, the word has come up so many times in so many of your arguments, what do you think secular means? Is it based only on religion?
Okay. So secular means that even if you, first of all, secularism means that you give equal opportunities, equal pedestal is given to all religions in a country which is secular. It is based on religion on a broader aspect. Okay, so when you are a secular country, when you call yourself a secular country, you are open to all religions, all kinds of people living in that country, residing in that country, getting the citizenship of that country, working in that country, contributing to the GDP of that country, paying tax in that country, everything. So yeah, it is it is based widely on religion only.
But I think when we mention secular, religion is a part of it and not the entire meaning of it. And when, like the proposition said, you can be a Hindu Rashtra and a secular one. I mean, because secular is dependent, it is a person being unbiased on various different agendas and not just religion.
Okay. So to
Like
answer,
you also said that religion is a part of it.
hmm,
It remains a part of it at the end. Even if it's a majority, it is a part of it.
okay,
It cannot entirely be based on
okay, I get
It
the
does
point.
not
secularism being
dominate, it participates.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Yeah.
so are both of you all aware of the 2015 terrorist attacks in France?
Mm.
Both of you all know that. Okay. So post that, France made amendments to its law, and they completely removed race from their constitution. Okay. So if something like that is done in India, what do you think? How is it gonna result? I need
Uh,
each of your opinion on this.
so because you brought in the story of क्या बोलूं ना?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
So because you brought up France in our discussion, I'd just like to uh, let you know how this fear mechanics of changing the politics, confusing politics, populations and religions. How does the fear mechanics come into play? So I'm taking this data from the latest National Family Survey. An average Muslim woman has 2.6 children, as opposed to a meager 1.2 children born to a Jain woman. Imagine the extrapolation of this year after year going ahead. It is monstrous for the demographics of India. And this is not an isolated story. There are similar stories all across the globe. In 2010, France had 2.1 million Muslims, whereas the 2020 estimate of that number is almost 8 million, which is 4 times as much in a matter of just 11 years. Islam is the fastest growing religion by followers in Africa. So this is precisely the fear mechanics that RSS BJP used to legitimize their actions amongst the Hindu voters. And to bring out the point that Mansi said, that this unexpected rise in population of one religion in France is what was causing a high level of insecurity amongst the natives. That is one very big reason as to why all of this terrorist attacks and all of these extremist activities take place. And what France did, removing or erasing the concept of race from their constitution, is something that is very outrageous and very bold step. I don't think, since India is such a vibrant democracy and India is such a diverse democracy, I don't think something like that would be possible in India, because the right to the right to give you religion, the right to follow the religion that you want, is essential and integral to India. This has been happening since the last 2000, 5000 years.
But when they removed race from their constitution, it just meant that there are no more minorities. It did not take away identity or freedom of following religion from the people. It just meant that they are going to address every individual as just that, an individual, irrespective of caste, creed, race, religion, gender,
So,
etc.
so that is a very good idea on paper, probably, but can you imagine the ground implementation of something like this, right? How will someone who has been brought up for the last 60 someone who has been brought up for the last 60 years with the construct of being a Hindu or a Muslim isn't just going to abandon that construct of being or following that religion just because the government says for it to be so?
So you're saying that we will become a Hindu Rashtra, but we will never go ahead and declare it and make that bold statement.
Probably, yeah. That is what is going to happen.
So then what is the point?
Happening exactly.
You
said during the debate that that's the hierarchy. You said during the debate that's the hierarchy, that's the end step.
एक एक करके नहीं तो there is no difference between us and the TV debates. एक एक करके.
अरे नहीं.
हाँ. बोलो प्रशम शाह बोलो.
मैं
fundamental difference between sorry बोलो.
अरे यार.
So now the proposition suddenly became opposition for some time without realizing. I don't know how he's going to justify it. He will justify.
हो गया, मेरे को नहीं समझा.
He will justify. I'll give you your chance again. But अभी के लिए I'll just say to the core question that Mansi asked, saying that France has removed race from their, but at the end of the day, France still remains, and their constitution says this, that France is an indivisible, secular, democratic and social republic, guaranteeing that all citizens, regardless of their origin, race or religion, are treated as equals before the law, respecting all religious beliefs. इसमें से रेस निकाल भी दो तुम, okay? इसमें से अगर रेस निकाल भी दो तो this is exactly what the Indian Constitution is saying. Okay, India is also currently saying the same thing, right? The preamble states the exact same things in those very terms and words. So then, why do you need a Hindu Rashtra? That is my first point. The second point: if France is doing so well, let's get that back to India. Then why does India need a Hindu Rashtra? The second point being what the proposition made: ki we won't declare it. So if we won't declare it, then how will the Hindus have a sense of superiority about the Muslims or other religions? उनको पता ही नहीं है कि मैं इनसे superior हूँ, लेकिन government को पता है कि ये इनसे superior है.
And I think that period got a little blur, and I did not realize what I was actually jumping into. But
Go ahead and rephrase yourself.
I really lost the trail of thoughts. that
Okay.
were in.
So Mansi, can you repeat the question and then Prasham can?
ठीक है. We can.
Okay,
Okay,
I
Mansi,
just need
next question.
I need a conclusion from Prasham Pratap once. I had counter question, but I just need a conclusion of your points again.
So I need to repeat my answer, na?
Yeah,
Yeah,
short
okay, so-
में, but
हाँ ठीक है. तो what the France का constitution says is exactly what India's constitution says in its preamble. So in those very words, so without the term of race, okay? So India के preamble में already race है ही नहीं, and France has removed it. So it is basically the same thing. So if France has gone up in terms of whatever parameters you judge it on, if it has only developed from 2015 onwards, so then why does India need to go back and say that this religion better than this religion, than this religion, than this religion?
but
Yeah.
we still do have, if you're saying it's the same, now they treat every person in every manner, irrespective of what background they have, as an individual. If that was the case with Indian Constitution as well, we would not have laws especially for certain religions,
Okay.
but we
So-
do.
Yeah. So France has a population of 6.7 crores. That is a population, I think, lesser than Uttar Pradesh.
But
So when you are comparing that scale
Prasham
with this scale,
Pratap,
I am just
One second. Just a second.
yeah.
Prasham Pratap, इस जितने भी debate में you have been a part, this is always the resulting factor कि we are discussing it when you were a part of Amisha versus Yashasvi wala debate. You said कि but the topic was gay rights in India, right? You said कि this debate is happening in India, so we have to look at from an Indian perspective, right? But bro, if we have to become a global superpower as we claim, we cannot compare anything. We must compare ourselves at par with them, irrespective of things.
I am comparing ourselves at par with them.
Okay.
That is exactly my point. When you say कि preamble दोनों का same है, so I am comparing the two things, right?
Okay, ठीक है.
We
I
are
missed
not
it. Sorry.
saying preamble same hai. You are saying
You
preamble.
are claiming it. You are claiming it.
Exactly.
You are claiming that the preamble is same.
Preamble same है in the sense
Similar
कि
है.
I completely read out the word to word part
चलेगा.
of France का constitution, no?
चलेगा. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my point remains कि if you are a country with 1.3 billion people and you compare it with 6.7 crore people, there are bound to be some changes in the constitution and in the laws that are made, right?
But then the whole point of applying that here makes no sense. The law that was applied there, the amendment was that they removed race from all of their laws, from roots.
That is what I think I am saying, that something like that cannot be replicated in India because race and religion hold much more importance in a country like India, and that is not something that the government can willy-nilly say कि कल से ये नहीं रहेगा, all of you all are going to be treated as equals.
Okay, Mansi, do you have any other questions?
No, I think I am done with my
What
question.
was your counter question? Just for the sake of it.
Actually, when they applied this in France, there were repercussions because they do keep their human rights above anything else, right? So it kind of worked for them because they did not let it overlap with the human rights, which might not be the case in India. Okay, since we struggle with human rights
Right.
already. One was that, and second was when this happened, the minorities of France had a problem sticking to their core because you know the race part was entirely taken off. That's why the benefits of minorities also did not have as much importance as it did before. So then there were protests and repercussions of that as well. So that scenario happening in India, or would something like that happen in India, would have been my counter question. But I think that has been answered. So.
Okay. तो ठीक है. Does anyone has anything to say, or can I end the year? I mean, can I end the season here?
I think internet really messed today up. but
Internet really messed it. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
really wanted you all to answer this on the live.
same.
Imagine having Prasham Shah mess up on live. Missed it, yeah.
I mean, two things really messed up only in the final. One is my internet, and the second is Prasham Shah. Only
नहीं
two
ऐसा
things.
कुछ हुआ नहीं है. That is only one very small.
हाँ, of
जब
course.
जब वो ट्रांजिशन हुआ
Very
तभी ऐसा
small
हुआ.
but
हाँ,
very core point.
जब वो
right,
ट्रांजिशन हुआ ना तब थोड़ा ज्यादा ओवरवेलमिंग हो गया. तभी it was
right.
probably a slip of tongue.
हाँ
But
जी,
yeah.
चलेगा, no problem.
But very small but very core point of yours. Very small. But okay.
You directly flipped from the proposition to the opposition in a point, but ठीक है.
Yeah.
But but ठीक है. Also, to all the viewers watching it, I won't be the judging ये power. I have been saying this every time, but मेरे को हर बार मैसेज आता है तेरा दोस्त है तो फाइनल में जा रहा है. मैं नहीं जज कर रहा हूँ. I am not the one. I have a team of 6 people, including me, but only the 5 of them decide. Here, I will also be asking Mansi ki, who do you think, gave the right answers? No, don't answer now. I will be asking this to you on text. But ha, so Mira, I don't have any. Also, sorry, one thing that I missed, ki I did not announce the prize of the winner in the entire season, but we decided it very, in the very start. The whoever wins this debate will be getting a certain something from us directly delivered to their house or to their account, whatever. But yeah, again, a closing note to this season. It has been a very good season for me. It has been a very learning season. It has been a season for learning, and these two people, Prasham Shah and Prasham Pratap, has always supported the idea of me conducting such a show on my Instagram live, which yeah, coincidentally we are recording on Zoom right now. But yeah, and this was a mere idea, and then these two joined. These two were very sporting to, हाँ तू कर ना bro, हम लोग है यहाँ पे, तू कर, हम है. Whenever I did not have question answers, round के लिए questions, these two would just instantly turn up. And it has been a very good season for, I guess, for me as well as for Thane Your Talent Circuit to just come in. Yeah, Prasham Pratap just said ki very sporting to just come in every episode eating footage, but no, that's not how it works. They actually made very valuable uh, points in each debate that they were they were a part of. And yeah, this is just the first season, and the winner will be getting something. And yeah, just please check out our Instagram, our YouTube, which will be active till this goes out. And yeah, we have many things coming up, and season 2 of this might also come up really soon. Just once, I'm taking all 3 of yours time, but I have to just plug in a certain something. Yeah, PYTC will be starting a podcast in the next from January, which will be on all the audio listening platforms as well as on our YouTube. A movie night discussion will be happening on our Instagram live from the 25th of this month, and we have an event coming up from on the 23rd. उसका डिटेल्स सब कल से चालू हो जाएगा स्पैम होना. From tomorrow you won't see anything in your Instagram except our publicity posts. We have everything done here. And
Is it a call to action to unfollow you?
one post per day you can handle, I'm sure. But yeah, having said that, this Face of Friday season was a very tempting one for all the participants as well as for me. क्योंकि we tried to keep it apolitical. But as you can see on the thumbnail, what the
And
topic
how
of
well
the
that
debate is.
turned out to be.
And we failed
How
miserably.
apolitical it was.
Yeah, we tried to keep it non-controversial, and we failed in that. But we will make sure that we, are successful in the second season. So yeah, we have many things coming up, and thank you everyone for being a part of this journey. So yeah, officially, Face of Friday season 1 ends here. Thank you for being a part of this.